Welcome to the Friday Sports Buzz. John Lewis along with the Courier-Journal's Michael Grant tonight. A lot to talk about. We have high school hoops. It's the postseason. And U of L hoops in the news, of course. Tough loss last night for the Cardinals. We'll talk about Kentucky as they get ready to take on Vandy tomorrow. Lots to talk about tonight. Michael Grant, appreciate you joining us here.
No problem. Happy to be here.
All right. Let's talk about it is the postseason for high school, some district championships tonight. And we'll take a look at a couple of the big games tonight. And one of them was Ballard at Eastern. And Eastern in the 28th District Championship looking for an upset over number 5 Ballard. Michael Davis for Eastern doing all he could to get that upset. Scored 38 points tonight. And Eastern with the upset tonight, 79-76 over Ballard. A lot of good hoops in Louisville tonight. Southern and Moore. I tell you, Moore is one of the big stories in high school basketball this year. They took on Southern tonight in the 23rd District Final. And Southern was giving Moore a challenge tonight. But in the 23rd District Final, it was 62-55 Moore over Southern. So no upset there. Of course, all those teams will end up playing again in the regionals, which are coming up pretty soon. Also, J-Town taking on Bullitt East. This was in the 24th District Final. And, man, some guys there having big games. Rusty Troutman with 20. Derek Willis, the UK commit, he had 15. And Bullitt East rolls over J-Town 68-47. We can give you some other finals tonight, at least winners. In the 21st District Championship, PRP beats Fairdale. In the 22nd, it was Butler over Doss. Manual beats Central in the 25th District. And in the 29th District, Oldham County over South Oldham. Okay, let's talk about U of L hoops, Michael Grant. And first of all, some good news today for the Cardinal team as Rick Pitino named one of 12 finalists for the Basketball Hall of Fame. Now, is he going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer?
Isn't this more of a formality? You're talking about a guy who's taken 3 different schools to the Final Four. Providence, UK, U of L has won the national championship. Maybe, he could have won 2 national championships or maybe more if he stayed. So
sure.
Congratulations to him, but it's, not exactly shocking news. And sure, he should be a first ballot Hall of Famer.
That was a talk we were having today on the radio show on the Afternoon Sports Buzz. You had to think that it's kind of surprising that he's not been nominated so far. I mean, with all that he's done, is that maybe because of the whole Boston Celtics thing? What happened there?
I don't know. I think in a lot of cases you have a certain pecking order and number of people that you want to put in, and sometimes you wait a certain time before I'm not sure if it's an age or a number before you actually say, we'd like you to join this fraternity. But again, it seems like a mere formality to me.
Well, I think a lot of people, when they refer to Rick Pitino, they refer to him as a Hall of Famer.
Someone who's already a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, right, and they think he is, and I think he will be in there. He probably should be a first team. Right? Not a Hall of Fame performance from his team last night as they struggled against Cincinnati. Just another one of those nights where they have that drought, and you can't have a drought like that on the road.
No, but when you look this time of year, you know who you are. There's a big enough sample size of games, so there's nothing shocking or surprising. Louisville is a team that scores off it, plays great defense, scores off its defense, whether it's getting steals or forcing you to bad shots. It's not a great half-court offensive team. If I were to ask you, you needed someone on U of L to score 20 points and your life depended on it, who would that be?
If my life depended on it, I may die. Because you're right. They have scorers, but who's going to be the guy who, and I know Pitino hates the go-to guy label, but they don't have that guy.
Yeah, but it's not a case of you have a bunch of real good players. It's not like Florida for, when they had their championship run where you could get points from everybody, but everyone kind of averaged around 13, 14. When you look at a guy like Kyle Kirk, who's maybe their best offensive player in terms of scoring, his numbers against some of the better teams, whether it's against UK or he finds the better teams do a better job of forcing him from not taking those corner 3-point shots that he's so good at.
And he even got some good looks last night, especially on that last play, trying to fire that 3, just could not hit it.
And again, you don't have a bunch of they don't have a lot of great outside shooters. They don't have a reliable low post game. So when you look at it, how are you going to generate consistent offense? This is still a good team. This is still a team that can get to a Sweet 16, maybe an Elite 8, depending on how the bracket shapes out. But it's a team with limitations, and people can gripe about Coach Pitino's coaching, but it's your personnel. That's who they are.
Right. Well, I think the elixir to fix all this is Pittsburgh coming to town on Sunday.
Well, that helps.
It does help. Pittsburgh, again, I mean, nothing is given in college basketball.
No, but they've only won one road game
right.
in Big East play, so.
They've won 4 games total in the Big East. They're 15-13. They've lost 3 straight, 2 of those at home, and they've scored less than 50. I mean, they lost to South Florida on senior night. I mean, that's tough.
That is pretty tough. But again, I mean, U of L is a good team. Are they a great team? No, but I don't think you should read in too much into these losses. I mean, I think they'll be a better team once tournament time comes, and like I said,
right.
be able to win a couple of games. Will they be able to make a real big Final Four push? Maybe not.
Rick Pitino said today he told his team, you make your case to the NCAA committee in your last 4 games, certainly in your last 4 regular season games and whatever happens in the Big East tournament. Okay, last night probably not a great showing, but they have the opportunity to make that.
Well, that's the great thing about the Big East tournament. You can get impressive wins, rank wins, wins that will resonate with the NCAA committee, unlike maybe some other conference tournaments. So they can build up their resume so they could get a fairly decent seed. But you're still talking about a program that last couple of years has been knocked out in the first round of the tournament.
Right.
So
yeah, I think Pitino and the Cardinals have a lot to prove to the committee because of what happened, especially, again, I think against Morehead State, which, I mean,
Morehead, California, a couple
right.
of years ago.
So Pittsburgh comes to town Sunday, could be what fixes them. But, you know, we sat here last Friday and talked on this show, and it was, well, this is going to be a horrible weekend because UK is going to blow out Mississippi State, U of L is going to blow out DePaul, Indiana is going to probably blow out Iowa. Those things don't happen.
No, but these are the dog days of college basketball. It's like in baseball where in August teams are just struggling to get to the end. It's also like that in college basketball because you see the tournament, you see March, and you're excited to get to those games. But by this, everyone's tired, everyone's exhausted, and you can slip up.
Yeah, and they really can't afford to slip up now. They can make a very good case for the NCAA tournament when they finish off the season against Syracuse and then attempt to make a run in that Big East.
Definitely so.
All right. We were going to take your calls. We're going to talk about UK hoops coming up. We'll talk about Mike's specialty, covering Western Kentucky and Murray and all that good stuff. And if you want to get in on the conversation, you can call our Goomer & Company Buzz line. The number is 964-2121. You're watching the Friday Sports Buzz from the iTech Studios. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Jim Weeks. At MaxCare, no project is too big. We have the capabilities to handle the smallest residential project to the largest commercial undertaking. We even clean big houses like this one. And everyone has been abuzz about our amazing 4 areas for $99 special. We want to let everyone know that MaxCare also cleans upholstery, ceramic tile, and air ducts. We also install and refinish hardwood floors dust-free. MaxCare, locally owned and family operated. Give us a call, 636-4629.
Goomer & Company Jewelry is proud to celebrate our 40th anniversary.
Hello, I'm Bruce Goomer, founder and owner of Goomer & Company. This is a family business, and we'd like to thank you for choosing Goomer & Company. My family and I look forward to being your jewelry store for years to come.
For over 40 years, we've been the largest gold, silver, and diamond dealer in the area.
Come see us on Hurstburn Parkway or visit goomerjewelry.com and experience the Goomer difference.
Have you been injured in an accident this weekend? Don't wait. Call Kaufman, Stigger & Hughes anytime for a free consultation. Fighting insurance companies can be overwhelming after an accident. Go to getthetiger.com and get the Tiger on your side.
The 2012 Bluegrass Golf Tour Card is available now. Play 8 great courses for one amazing price. Call 502-964-2121 or go to shop21live.com to get yours now. Hurry, they won't last long.
Jenny Merriman.
And I'm Greg Brom. Shop 21 Live is now with you 5 days a week.
That's right. Catch us Saturday mornings at 10, Mondays at noon, and Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 6:30 p.m.
Always offering you half price on restaurant, golf, entertainment, trips. We have it all here at 21 Live.
That's right, so don't miss it. Check out our website, shop21live.com.
21 Live, Kentuckiana's live local shopping show.
Thanks for sticking with us here on the Friday Sports Buzz. John Lewis along with Michael Grant from the Courier-Journal. We talked about U of L already. They play on Sunday. Tomorrow at noon, it's UK and Vandy, a team that has given UK a run, but UK beat them down in Nashville. Now Vandy's going to try to beat them at Rupp Arena, and I just don't know that happens tomorrow.
Well, you never really know, like I said, this time of year, but the question is when/if is Kentucky going to suffer its next loss?
I think it comes in the NCAA tournament. Although, when you look at that schedule, they play Vanderbilt, they play Georgia at home, but then they play at Florida. I mean, is that the one?
I don't know, but it's funny. I was talking with an SEC assistant coach and another coach just about UK in general, and when you look at him, I mean, everyone talks about Anthony Davis, and obviously he's a game changer. He's a guy who we haven't seen in college basketball in quite some time, which is with his natural shot blocking ability. But when you have the best interior defender in the country and also Michael Kidd-Gilchrist, who's a pretty darn good exterior defender, you're just not going to score, and it's going to be tough. This Kentucky team is different than the team from last year because this team plays consistent defense, and that defense allows them to stay in road games and pull out games like against Mississippi State when they get off to bad starts.
I've said before, I think the next time that John Calipari tells the truth will be the first time, but he said that he felt like his team, now he said this last week, he felt like his team maybe needed some losses, maybe needed to get smacked in the face before that, to come around. But to me, when you have a game like Mississippi State where they got smacked in the face in hostile territory, down 13 at halftime, and then come back and win the game, that's much better than a loss.
That is true, and I'm not the greatest Bob Knight guy, but one thing he always talked about is, whether you can learn something from a loss. He'd say, I'd rather learn something from a victory. It doesn't seem to be, people talk about, oh, you don't want to go into so many wins, you don't want to go in any place undefeated as far as going into the NCAA tournament, but you just want to win games and learn from that and try to avoid losses whenever you can. There's nothing as such as a good loss.
What's your opinion on Kentucky as far as, and it's hard to determine when a team hasn't lost since they lost against Indiana, but is that a team that's peaked?
I don't know if they've peaked, but there are teams capable of beating them. I mean, when you look at a team like Syracuse, which plays that zone and is long in the zone, has another big guy in Fab Melo. I mean, Syracuse is pretty, they're flying a little bit under the radar. The only game they lost is when Fab Melo didn't play.
Right. Well, which brings us to the AP rankings, and we'll take a look at those. UK again, number one, and UK is going to be number one, I think, in the AP for a while, barring a loss, and certainly and Syracuse doesn't. There are still two voters out there that feel like Syracuse is still should get those number one votes.
And I don't have a problem with that. I mean, do I think Kentucky's a better team? Yes. Are they that much better than Syracuse? I'm not ready to go there. I mean, when you look at Syracuse, they're a deep team, they're a veteran team, they're a talented team. They struggle a little bit on offense, but like I said, with their length in that zone, they're a team that can beat and give Kentucky a lot of problems.
Missouri number 3, Murray State 14, Louisville 17, and Indiana at 23 this week. All right, we're going to take your calls here on the Goomer & Company Buzz Line, 964-2121. Let's go to Handsome Jimmy. Jimmy, we had a lot of discussion today on the 5 o'clock show. How you doing tonight?
All right, John. Mike, how y'all doing, buddy?
Good.
Hey, John and Mike, I really think, the way Peyton, is starting to come on a little bit, and I know, I mean, we've been inconsistent all year shooting the ball, but, Mike, you get Cal and you get Chris and hopefully Wayne, his shoulder ain't, hurting too bad. Throw Wayne in there and Russ. You get Peyton penetrating, he starts scoring. Eventually they're going to collapse on him. You're going to get some more wide open looks. How do you think Peyton can help us down the stretch? And hopefully we can, with Wayne and Russ and Cal, and Chris, knock down them jump shots. I think he can be a plus going down the stretch.
Yeah, I mean, Siva has been so inconsistent, and I can continue to contend that college basketball comes down to guard play. I think we saw it with UK and how Teague, I don't think, certainly performed up to standards. When Siva is struggling, that whole team struggles. I mean, they've got to get And I thought they got some open shots against Cincinnati, but I mean, you just got to knock them down.
Yeah, and the way Siva plays, I mean, he's very good at penetrating, obviously, but he's still not a guy necessarily that consistently knocks down, point-blank layup shots. And if you're a defender, why would you ever really cheat towards Siva? You'd want to make him make a whole bunch of shots and stay at home to the shooters. So like you said, I don't think U of L's half-court offense is going to improve greatly. I mean, what you see today is what they're going to be. It's just a question of whether or not they can get offense from their defense.
The debate, and we talked about it during the break, the debate today, I think, with a lot of U of L fans, and they come on both sides of the fence, and I think I've straddled the fence after initially thinking about it, was that last shot that Pitino drew up for Keurig at the end of the game. To me, a guy who has missed that many, I mean, I understand him trying to give him a look and, let him be the hero. I think Pitino has a tendency to fall in love with his upperclassmen. But if in that situation, I don't know that that's the play I draw up to try to win a game.
But, John, you can look at this two ways. Number one, I mean, who else who's going to take that shot when you need a three? And you could also say maybe he's due after missing all those shots. Again, it's not like they have a bunch of options where they could pull back guys. U of L is one of the worst in the Big East in three-point shooting. So he's their guy that they go to. So you got to trust in your guys.
Yeah. That's a good point. He was certainly due. I think U of L's biggest problem, I think it was a problem against DePaul. It was a problem against Syracuse. You can't have scoring droughts, and that was a problem last night.
Yeah, but again, it was a game that they still could have won, and you could arguably should have won.
All right. If you want to get in on the conversation, call the Goomer & Company Buzzline 964-2121. John Lewis along with Michael Grant. Michael, you cover a lot of Western Kentucky, cover a lot of Murray State this year. Let's talk about Western Kentucky first. What did you think of the Hilltoppers finally taking the interim tag off Ray Harper?
Not surprising in that they did it. The timing is a little bit odd. Usually you don't have coaching hires announced, whether it's an interim coach being named full-time or a new guy in February. So that's a little odd. You figured they would have taken some time and interviewed some more candidates who could become available. When I talked to the athletic director, Ross Bjork there, he said they talked to the guys that they wanted to, and they felt that Ray Harper was the person they wanted, but it still seems rather odd that you'd make this announcement now.
Yeah. A guy we talked about on the radio show that probably, I don't know if he was a candidate, if he talked to him or not, was Scott Davenport. Do you feel like he was in the mix or should have been in the mix?
Not necessarily from anything that I'd been told. I mean, obviously he would have been an accomplished candidate, but I think they like the fact that Ray Harper knows the players there and is a brand name that you can sell in that part of the state.
All right, and the former Kentucky Wesleyan head coach who did a lot of good things and had a little baggage coming into Western Kentucky, but apparently that's all. And that was a lot of paperwork baggage, I think, more than it was anything else.
Well, it wasn't just the basketball program. It was 7 other sports.
Very true. Very true. Good point. And when we come back from the break, we'll talk about Murray State, and we'll talk about maybe a new member of the Big East ready to move in pretty quickly. We'll talk about that. If you want to get in on the conversation, Goomer & Company Buzzline 964-2121. Stay with us.
Pimp out your ride at Smart Shoppers, 4200 Produce Road. That's Smart Shoppers, 4200 Produce Road to pimp out your ride. They are open Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. They are the largest car audio dealer in the city of Louisville. No better place for paint or body work in the city than Smart Shoppers. You need rims, stereos, amps, paint, anything you need. Call 964-6652 or go to smartshoppers.com. That's Smart Shoppers, 964-6652.
Goomer & Company Jewelry is proud to celebrate our 40th anniversary.
Hello, I'm Bruce Goomer, founder and owner of Goomer & Company. This is a family business, and we'd like to thank you for choosing Goomer & Company. My family and I look forward to being your jewelry store for years to come.
For over 40 years, we've been the largest gold, silver, and diamond dealer in the area.
Come see us on Hurstburn Parkway or visit goomerjewelry.com and experience the Goomer difference.
If you have TV in your business, you may suffer from channel waste, which is caused by paying for channels you don't need. To get the channels you want, Dish Business stops channel waste by giving you the power to choose. Start with local channels and add Dish Business packages like sports, lifestyle, and news. Better choice, better value, better business. Call Terry's Satellite City at 964-DISH.
Hey, I'm returning your stuff. Your motor oil, your paint, and all your other trash. You dumped it on the ground and it washed down the storm drain and into my water. Don't let it happen again. Or next time, I won't be so nice.
Stop polluting Kentucky's water by keeping trash off the ground. To find out how you can help, visit our website.
What do you like about the Red and Blue Review?
I like it because we're a split household, and it tells me and my husband both all of the great things about our team.
I'm a real big Kentucky fan, but I like to keep up with Louisville stuff, too.
You get to see the pros and cons. They show the good, they show the bad. They show the U of L, which is the good, and they show the UK, which is the bad. I absolutely love watching the Red and Blue Review.
All right, wrapping things up here on the Friday Sports Buzz from the iTech Studios. John Lewis along with the Courier Journal's Michael Grant. Michael, we talked about Murray State. You covered them quite a bit this season. They seem to have bounced back pretty nicely against that one after that one loss.
Yeah, especially after beating Tennessee State as handily as they did yesterday,
right.
The team that they lost to. But I got an interesting nugget for their SID just about Murray State. If they win tomorrow at Tennessee Tech, they'll finish with unbeaten on the road for the first time in the history of that program, and that spans, I think, about 86 years.
It's incredible, I guess, we saw flashes of it, I think, last year, and I'm sure you saw them up close. But I mean, what has been the difference for a team to be that close to being undefeated?
Well, a couple of things. Number one, you have a new head coach there in Steve Prohm. You had the fact that he was able to implement his system, his philosophy, his way of doing things by going on a foreign trip to Canada. So he got a little bit of a head start in, I believe it was August. So the players got used to him. They got used to how he manages things during games. And this is a team with a lot of talent. This is a team that has Isaiah Cannon, who's as good as any guard in the country. It's a team whose starting five can compete with anyone in the country. So this is a legitimately good team. And people make a lot about the Ohio Valley Conference, which isn't having the best of years, but still a conference that beat the University of Louisville last year, right, and beat Vanderbilt 2 years ago. And a lot of those kids on Murray State who beat Vanderbilt and almost beat Butler are on this team now. So this is a legitimate good team. Now the question is, where are they going to fit seeding-wise? Now, in my opinion, I think they're pretty much locked between a 6 and 8 right now, depending how they close out with the OVC tournament. And I'm sure Steve Prohm's going to be lobbying for a 5 seed, but I think right now they're stuck between 6 and 8.
You know, we had this discussion a few times. It's like, what would happen before the loss? Mm-hmm. What would happen if Murray State went undefeated, mm-hmm, ran through the OVC tournament? What kind of seeding would they get? Would they get any respect? I felt like they should be at least a 4 or 5 seed.
If they had done that, they would have made an excellent argument for a 4. They probably would have been able to be fine with a 5. Right. But like I said, it's funny because in Joe Lunardi, who's the bracketology expert for ESPN, before they suffered their loss, the highest, I think he had him as a 6. And after they've suffered a loss, what they've done lately, he still has them as a 6. I mean, they've gone from a 6, I think, to maybe an 8 or higher. But the fact that they've, not gone anywhere from a 6 back to a 6, even after a loss, I find sort of peculiar. But their Sagarin rating isn't very high. I think it's in the 50s. The RPI number right now is around 35, so it's going to be an interesting, and it's going to depend on what happens with some of the other teams in the field.
And does it maybe is that an assumption that they win the OVC?
Pretty much. I mean, right, there really isn't a lot to challenge them. You'd think maybe Tennessee State might be, but they won at Tennessee State pretty handily yesterday. And then Tennessee Tech is another team that could give them some maybe issues, but I can't see anyone really threatening him. And the thing about which I like about Murray State is I don't think they played their best basketball yet.
That's saying something. All right, let's talk about maybe the possibly new team in the Big East. New York Times reporting this week that Temple was in talks to join the Big East maybe as soon as next year. It would bring, I think, 13 in football, 18 in basketball. There was some talk before that Boise State might try to get in there early and replace West Virginia. If that doesn't happen, it seems like Temple would be able to slide in there. Your thoughts? What does Temple bring to the table?
I just find it funny that the Big East, a couple of not too long ago, basically kicked them to the curb, saying you're not competitive enough to be in our conference.
Right.
And now you have the Big East, just out there grabbing it for anyone, and now they're welcoming them back into the fold. Temple football is obviously never going to be great, but for basketball purposes, this is a perfect fit.
Yeah, they so far have won 21 games, had a win against Duke, which gives them respect in my eyes.
Now, Villanova probably isn't very happy because they could market themselves within the Philadelphia and within the state, or just in Philadelphia saying, if you want to play Big East basketball, you got to come to us. But now they got to share that a little bit potentially with Temple.
And there was some talk that maybe Villanova gets some compensation for that. Now, I don't know if that would happen, but I think Temple, I like it, but again, it just seems the Big East. I've said it before. They're rearranging the deck on the chairs on the Titanic.
Well, they're doing whatever they can to stay relevant, but you never know how things may change again in the future. So, I can't blame the Big East for doing something like this.
I think the Big East, though, at least in my eyes, they're starting to turn into Conference USA.
Yeah, that's what Rick Bozich wrote a couple of weeks ago, saying that the Big East is starting to look exactly like Conference USA. And as someone who grew up in New York and grew up with Big East basketball, it's sad seeing some teams that, like Syracuse,
Absolutely.
when you think Big East basketball, you think Syracuse, and the idea that they could leave for the ACC is just very, very, as someone who grew up around them, it's sort of sad.
I don't like it. It's obviously a money decision. Mm-hmm. It's a money decision that I think will eventually lead U of L to the Big 12 because they fought so hard to get into a conference where they would get respect. They finally did it with the Big East because they wanted to get out of Conference USA, and now they're going to have to get out of, I think, Conference USA Part 2.
But, John, doesn't this ring of just panic because you're grabbing at things that haven't happened, and people talk about the instability? Well, these athletic directors are the people causing this instability in the first place. So.
That is a great point, and it's come down to money. I think it's with the BCS. We've seen it happen. Will we ever get the playoff in the BCS? Who knows? As long as those millions and millions and millions of dollars are sitting on the table, it's not going to happen. And the dominoes have started falling, and for it to ruin the conferences that we grew up with, it is kind of sad. Very true. And we're going to see U of L in the Big 12 pretty soon. He's Michael Grant. I'm John Lewis. Thank you for joining us here on the Friday Sports Buzz. Have a great night.